Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And oh my gosh, it's the Double Deb Day. We have not one, but two Debs on this program today, and we are going to have so much fun. There is a reason why I set a timer, because I know that if I didn't with this young woman, we would be going on forever, because not only is she really funny, she's got lots of great information. So please join me in welcoming Debra Eckerling to our program today. Welcome, Debra. How are you?
I am terrific, Deb. I'm so excited I love it. It's Double Deb Day. I name things after myself all the time.
Yes.
I start the year in December. I lead Debinars. So,
I love it. I love it. And we're going to talk about the Deb method. So,
that of course is the main thing. But two Debs are, of course, better than one.
Two for the price of one. So,
Even better.
All right. Well, let me tell people just a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into this because it is going to be so much fun. So Debra Eckerling is an award-winning author and podcaster, goal strategist, and workshop leader on a mission to change goal culture in and out of the workplace. She is the author of Your Goal Guide and 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. She also hosts GoalChat, which by the time this airs, I will have been a guest on. So thank you much. She also hosts Taste Buds with Deb. I want to be on that one. And so that is much fun because Taste Buds recently earned her the best host / anchor at the LA Press Club's Southern California Journalism Awards. Woohoo! A consultant and speaker, Debra works with individuals and teams on personal and professional projects, networking strategy, and book proposal development. So again, Debra, welcome. How are you? I asked that already. How are you still?
I am doing just as good, if not better, than I was 2 minutes ago. Now, I love the thing that you mentioned my award. I just love that I was recognized for talking about food.
Isn't that fun?
I mean, yeah. But do we not do this because we enjoy people and sharing their stories?
Yes, I know. My podcast is not monetized because that's too hard. And people ask me, well, what do you get out of it? Well, I get to talk to the coolest people in the world. That's what it comes down to. I have loved every single one of my guests in my 1,000+ podcasts.
And what I do for GoalChat is I bring in 3 guests, and unless it's on purpose, they don't know each other for conversation on a topic. And I always say that's my favorite networking activity. It's a great way to continue conversations with new friends or reconnect with old friends. Or if I have 2 people that I want to introduce, I just put them on the show together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I am certain that when I did your podcast, we had so much fun. And so once it's there, we'll put a link to it in our show notes.
Excellent.
Yes. So you have had a very fun career. Tell us a little bit more about how you got to where you are today.
I started out doing events for Barnes & Noble back when I lived in Chicago, and I've lived in LA for more than 27 years. So do whatever math you want. And whenever I needed to fill my calendar, I would hang out in the cafe because I wanted it to feel like a community bookstore. This was in the 90s when they first started popping up everywhere.
Right.
One day, one of my regulars came in and he said, what about starting a writer support group? And I said, if you think people will show up, let's give it a try. And it was a hit. And for me, that meant, okay, what did you accomplish? How can we support you? And what are your goals for next time? And that really started me on this path. Fast forward. And the other part is I wouldn't ask people to do anything that I wasn't prepared to do myself.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was setting goals.
Mm-hmm.
And this was my degree's
Mm-hmm.
journalism. I hadn't been freelancing. I got this job in the bookstore that I loved, but I really wanted to freelance. So
Mm-hmm.
my goal was every meeting, I would
Mm-hmm.
write a slice of life something.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have writing samples.
Mm-hmm.
And as it turned out, the week that I finished my first screenplay, I met a magazine looking for freelancers. And
Oh.
because I had been setting these
Mm-hmm.
goals, I had samples, I had
Mm-hmm.
specs, and one they actually published as is. And I ended up doing entertainment and feature writing for them for a while. But it was
Wow.
because
Mm-hmm.
I was setting these goals
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
I was asking other people to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's seeing the power
Mm-hmm.
of when you tell other people that you're going to do stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but also this community, if you need support. And this is really, developed into even more so now. But it was, even if I was writing my story like the afternoon of the meeting, it was going to get done because
Mm-hmm.
there was a goal.
Right.
So fast forward,
Mm-hmm.
moved to LA. I always talked about this wonderful writer support group.
Mm-hmm.
Relaunched it in 2002. We met in person till, and I just looked this up because I was trying to pitch a book event to one of our Barnes and Nobles, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I did my goal group at the Santa Monica
Mm-hmm.
one that no longer exists from
Right. Mm-hmm.
2002
Mm-hmm.
to 2009, and they just opened up a new space, which is completely irrelevant to the conversation. Anyway, the point is, we met in person
Mm-hmm.
and it was renamed Right On, which is a
Mm-hmm.
Facebook group, and it has
Mm-hmm.
evolved over the years
Mm-hmm.
for its writers, creatives, and entrepreneurs. And
Yeah.
in the group,
Mm-hmm.
I will post, what are your networking goals for the
Mm-hmm.
week? What are your goals for the
Mm-hmm.
week? Toot your horn Thursday, photo Friday, just
Mm-hmm.
different conversation
Mm-hmm.
starters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my point being, I tangented, big shock. So along the way, as I'm doing this live group in LA, people would say, "You're good at this. I've been trying to write my book for years.
Mm-hmm.
Can I hire you?
Mm-hmm.
We got it done in 3 months."
Whew.
Or, "You're good at this. Will you
Mm-hmm.
speak at my event?" So
Mm-hmm.
this started to evolve from
Mm-hmm.
more of this cool thing that I
Mm-hmm.
did
Right.
to this evolve into this,
Uh-huh.
right? And my business background is communication and
Mm-hmm.
project management. I was freelance writing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I've always done a lot of things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's the
so
red hair in the name. We've already decided this.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So this is how it evolved. It was in
Mm-hmm.
person, it was online
Mm-hmm.
only, a hybrid. So it's taken different
Mm-hmm.
shapes over the years, and I've recently relaunched a version of it where I
Mm-hmm.
do a GoalChat mixer
Mm-hmm.
on the third Wednesday of the month, which
Ooh.
is we report on the goals and we report on our wins, set new goals, and then talk about
Mm-hmm.
whatever topic.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the book came out, in January, one of my friends said, "Didn't you used to do a monthly meetup? You should start it again." But with all the technological connection, how
Mm-hmm.
could I not do it
Right.
in a virtual way?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So evolve, evolve, evolve.
Mm-hmm.
In 2018, my main communication client was going away, and I decided this is a sign
Mm-hmm.
to fully step into what I believe I was meant to do, which is
Ah.
help people figure
Mm-hmm.
out what they want and how to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom said to me, "You hate SMART goals. Why don't you create Deb goals?"
Ah.
And it turned out my name worked with the
Mm-hmm.
system that I
Mm-hmm.
have been teaching for
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And I am, Deb stands for Determine Your Mission, Explore Your Options, Brainstorm Your Path.
Mm-hmm.
So determine your mission, get what you want unless you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Explore your options.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want this life. What does that look like?
Right.
And then brainstorm your path is make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And this foundational stuff, it is what I've been leading workshops on already.
Mm-hmm.
So rebranded myself, was going to self-publish a book,
Mm-hmm.
and I met an agent through one of the women in my in-person group always had a goal to do more
Mm-hmm.
networking.
Mm-hmm.
She sat next to this person who became my agent at an event. They were the only person each other met. And it turned out I had heard him speak like 5 or 6 years
Mm-hmm.
before at a different event. So
Oh,
he said,
small
"What
world.
do you,
Mm-hmm.
tiny,
Mm-hmm.
ridiculously
Mm-hmm.
tiny, especially as a Midwesterner who
Mm-hmm.
lives in LA."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "What is your goal?" No, he said, "What are your books?" I said, "I self-published 2,
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to self-publish a
Mm-hmm.
third on the Deb method. What is your goal?" And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "To be the first person people think of when they hear the word goal."
Ah.
And he said, "Well, if that's the case, send me your book proposal. let's see if we can get your book published mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
So this is spring of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the year, Mango, my publisher, showed interest, and my book came out. Your Goal Guide, the yellow one,
Mm-hmm.
came out in January 2020. So 6 weeks before the world had changed by circumstance, out comes my book to help people embrace change by choice or by circumstance. So that's how I got from this fun goal group to being me. And it was very interesting having a book come out and then the world shut down.
Right.
And that's what led to GoalChat, my live show, which it started out, the first 2 episodes were me talking. And they lasted I think the first one was 15 minutes and the second one was 10. I'm like, okay, this is not sustainable.
Right.
So I started doing an interview show. And then by the end of the year, I was like, how do you throw a holiday party when you can't leave the house?
Right.
Well, you bring together people who don't know each other on a show. So I did for my December Start 2021 Now kickoff party. I invited several different people who didn't know each other for that. And I liked the format. And the next few months, I would do the first one would be a panel. And then I started incorporating more panels. So by the spring, all I did was a panel show. But the point being, my first book, Your Goal Guide, led to the podcast. My podcast led to 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting, which just came out in January. Because in the book, I interviewed 60 achievers and said, what is your secret for setting and or getting goals? And that evolved into this. So I just, so that's how I got here. I am a champion of goals. I believe goal is the good kind of 4-letter word. And there is so much power, especially in the world we're living in now, where there's so much drama and drama and other words that I'm not going to use. When you feel like you have control over nothing, but you do have control over yourself and your goals and bringing things into your life that make you feel good, that do good, and that makes a difference in every other aspect.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love all of that. And it's fun to hear how stuff evolves, right? Because I'm in awe of the people that, well, this is what I wanted to do when I was 12 and I've done it every day of my life. For one thing, I don't remember when I was 12. So, but yeah, and I'm the, oh, let's do this for a while. Oh, let's do that for a while. We talk about squirrels, right? And a friend of mine who I absolutely love said, no, dear, they're butterflies. So I like that, right? We're chasing butterflies. We're not chasing squirrels. And so, but yeah, you've got, for those of you who are listening, a huge butterfly on the wall behind you. I have a butterfly permanently on my arm. And so, yeah, so we chase butterflies, but those
I have to tell you the story behind the butterfly picture.
Okay,
so my mother, artist, she taught me everything. She taught me to love people and conversation. She passed last fall. But the butterfly is one of her paintings because she would watch my show. And one day after GoalChat, she said, we need to warm up your office. Let's put the butterfly in there. And I love that. And now I love it because I know she's on my shoulder anyway.
Yes, she's looking over your shoulder. Exactly.
So I love the visual representation. So whenever somebody comments on the butterfly, I'm like, that's mom. Thank you. So thank you.
I love it. And to me, a big part of this is it shows that we can be flitting here and there, but we have to be doing it with a purpose, with goals, right? And it's funny because I talk about this a lot on the podcast. And because for one thing, we know all these people. We always know people, and sometimes I'm this person, and so I will raise my hand, who we don't have goals. We just kind of hope that we're going to get to wherever. And I tell people it's kind of like if you would get into your car and tell Siri or whoever your GPS is, take me somewhere, right? You need to give direction as to where you want to go. So you have to know what your destination should be. Now, can that change along the way? Sure. Oh, that looks even better, whatever. But you have to start with a goal in mind and a destination in mind before you can ever really get there. And so that's kind of my concept as to why we have to have goals.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a step before the destination,
Mm-hmm.
which is the foundation.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You have to know who
Mm-hmm.
you are, what you
Mm-hmm.
love, what makes you
Mm-hmm.
unique, and how
Mm-hmm.
you help.
Right.
And then that can manifest in so many
Mm-hmm.
different ways. But you start with,
Mm-hmm.
this is what I love. And you talked about, what did you want to be when you grew up? I always loved writing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had asked teenage Deb
Mm-hmm.
what she would,
Mm-hmm.
teenage Deb me,
Mm-hmm.
what she wanted to be, I would say, I'm not sure, but whatever it is, I want to have an impact.
Ah,
And
this
it's just
Deb didn't think that way.
it's especially
Mm-hmm.
amusing though because
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved writing and I thought I was going to write the great American
Mm-hmm.
novel. I was
Mm-hmm.
going to be that person.
Yes.
And the fact that I switched from fiction to
Mm-hmm.
nonfiction
Mm-hmm.
rather seamlessly. And I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned before I had taken a screenwriting
Mm-hmm.
class. What it was through someone who I met through an event at the
Mm-hmm.
bookstore, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to this Gen Expo and I
Mm-hmm.
found this magazine. I said, "Are you
Mm-hmm.
looking for freelancers?" And the fact that I got the freelance writing break so closely on the heels of
Mm-hmm.
this creative project in
Mm-hmm.
the screenplay, it was a good first screenplay,
Mm-hmm.
or I was told. But the nonfiction
Mm-hmm.
always came so much easier to
Mm-hmm.
me, but it wasn't that wasn't even in my radar
Mm-hmm.
that much growing up. I love the creative, but there's
Mm-hmm.
so much creativity in
Mm-hmm.
freelancing. My point is, we're here for a reason. Why not shout what we
Right.
love from the
Mm-hmm.
rooftops?
Mm-hmm.
And when you know what that
Mm-hmm.
is, then you can figure out what you want
Yes.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
The other part is, and I'm not sure if you realize this, but your goal guide actually has a road trip theme
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it talks about, you know, I categorize things into build a career,
Mm-hmm.
or a career change,
Mm-hmm.
build or grow a business, um, gain thought leadership
Mm-hmm.
or expertise,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledgement, visibility,
Right.
and work-life
Mm-hmm.
balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I attribute each of these, one's the amusement park. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the ups and downs of
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship. The beach is work-life balance.
Ah.
You
Mm-hmm.
want one, or the big city was the thought leadership center
Mm-hmm.
stage. So
Mm-hmm.
usually though, you want more than one of these things. They work in concert.
Right.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
most people we know
Mm-hmm.
want that balance or
Mm-hmm.
that harmony
Mm-hmm.
piece, because if you don't have that, why are you working so hard?
Mm-hmm.
But you need to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can figure
Mm-hmm.
out what you want to create
Right.
and set goals
Mm-hmm.
that you can reach
Mm-hmm.
towards.
Mm-hmm.
Easy,
Right.
easy peasy.
Mm-hmm.
Goal setting simplified.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
I love
live
it.
by.
I love it. Well, so I had a discussion, like I said, we talk about goals a lot on this program. And I tell people, I'm a marketing person. And so I was taught that in marketing, we want to have BHAGs, right? Big, hairy, audacious goals. So, I want to make $5 million in 5 years would be a BHAG. And things like this. And so I was talking with one of my guests, and I said, the trick with it is it does need to be achievable. And I said, because I don't want to say I want to make 50 million, because that's not doable. I mean, and and I said, because if I get there and I haven't achieved that big hairy one, then I'm like, I don't want to play anymore. And he said, I'm going to push back. He
Hmm.
said, I think it should be maybe not unachievable, but a stretch. And I thought about that and I thought, oh, I like that. And he said, so maybe as opposed to I want to make $5 million, because 5 million might be fairly easy to do. I wish. Mhm. Yeah.
Right?
And he said, okay, so make it 10. Right. So it's not, oh my God, there's no way I can get there, but it's, ooh, I'm gonna have to work a little harder to get there. And it was an interesting conversation because you know I, it I think the problem is when people set goals that they cannot achieve. First of all, they didn't do what you said, right? They didn't know that they had that foundation, or they didn't have the right foundation to get there. But if they can't achieve the goal, then it's a wish, and I'm probably never going to get there. So why am I going to keep trying?
Yes. And I believe in setting all the goals. So,
Mm-hmm.
you determine your mission, you
Mm-hmm.
figure out,
Mm-hmm.
that foundational piece, explore
Mm-hmm.
your options, what you
Mm-hmm.
going to
Mm-hmm.
create. But then brainstorm your path,
Mm-hmm.
write down all of your goals. And I'm
Right.
talking big, big, long-term, short-term,
Right.
dream goals,
Mm-hmm.
easy goals, and then the
Mm-hmm.
benchmarks and the
Mm-hmm.
action items, divide and conquer
Mm-hmm.
so you can make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe at any given time, a good number, we like the number three, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about what three
Mm-hmm.
long-term, short-term, personal and professional goals.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got like 9 goals on your
Mm-hmm.
radar at
Mm-hmm.
any time. And you could be you're always going to have your
Mm-hmm.
alpha and your beta
Mm-hmm.
working towards several things
Mm-hmm.
simultaneously,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to keep your eye on the prize.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, one of them should be big, hairy,
Mm-hmm.
audacious. One of them should be achievable.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other part, and then do whatever you want with the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part of it is, says the woman who wants to be the first person people think of when they hear the
Yes.
word goal,
Yes.
which
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying at
Mm-hmm.
least since
Mm-hmm.
2018, but probably a
Mm-hmm.
while before that. Um, the point is you need to, on your goal path, you
Mm-hmm.
need to celebrate everything.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, keep a win list
Mm-hmm.
and just write down one, two,
Mm-hmm.
or three things
Mm-hmm.
that were successes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was sending out a query or
Mm-hmm.
it was writing a certain number of words or
Mm-hmm.
making dinner or
Mm-hmm.
not yelling at someone you really
Mm-hmm.
wanted to yell at. Whatever it is, but
Mm-hmm.
write down. And I like to do this as a calendar appointment. Every 6 o'clock every day, I get the reminder, and then you put the date and the three
Mm-hmm.
wins, one to
Right.
three wins, and you save it
Mm-hmm.
as the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And then each month you start
Mm-hmm.
a new one. And what that does is at the end of the week or the month, when you feel like you're not getting
Mm-hmm.
anywhere, you can look
Mm-hmm.
at your win list and say,
Mm-hmm.
hmm,
I did. I did some good
I'm
stuff.
getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting
Right.
there.
Right. Yeah. You'll love this. I was working with Chat GPT, who I have named Sage. We're in a relationship. I have named him, her, it Sage. And so I'm working on some projects and I said, I'm really busy, but I need to start working on stuff as opposed to I'll do it when I get to it. And so it created a minimum viable momentum checklist. And there's, several things on there, but it ends with celebrate your progress. Light a candle, dance it out, or indulge in something sweet. You're doing it. Right? And I think that's the thing is people think, oh my God, my goals have to be these huge things. Sometimes my goal is I got out of bed today, right?
Yes, and I have something I call 5 of 7 rule,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically giving you permission not to work toward your goals every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You need the
Okay.
balance,
Okay.
and also thinking about the longer term goals,
Mm-hmm.
the passion
Mm-hmm.
projects, the things
Mm-hmm.
that you're also
Mm-hmm.
doing. Writing that
Mm-hmm.
book, starting that
Mm-hmm.
blog or podcast
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you might say, oh, I'll just do 15 minutes every
Mm-hmm.
day. 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes is easy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you miss 15 minutes Sunday, then you're at a half an hour on Monday, 45
Right.
minutes on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
If you did not have 15 minutes on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
you do not have an hour on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Better to look at your calendar at the beginning of the week, look at your
Mm-hmm.
appointments and say, oh, I can do two 30-minute appointments
Mm-hmm.
or three
Mm-hmm.
15-minute appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, you put in the calendar. And then the trick is you cannot delete these appointments
Mm-hmm.
once you commit to them.
Ah.
You can move them if
Mm-hmm.
you have to,
Mm-hmm.
but also frowned upon, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes things
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
But this is your commitment to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your life and do what
Mm-hmm.
is feasible. And that way, in keeping the
Mm-hmm.
win list, you can keep track of
Mm-hmm.
all the different things,
Right.
all the different moving
Mm-hmm.
parts, and feel good
Mm-hmm.
when you're feeling like
Mm-hmm.
it's taking forever, because it
Mm-hmm.
might.
Right. Right. And let's be honest, sometimes you don't make it, for whatever reason, but that's okay.
Sometimes the thing that you think is the
Mm-hmm.
priority changes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which is why we start
Mm-hmm.
with the mission and the motto.
Mm-hmm.
You could be doing other things that are in service
Mm-hmm.
of that, and sometimes things are not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the writing project,
Mm-hmm.
it's really, really difficult to put down. But
Mm-hmm.
once you put it down because you need a break
Mm-hmm.
from it, it is really hard to pick it up
Mm-hmm.
again.
Right.
And that happens with a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things. Some things are not yet. I
Mm-hmm.
always say I do have a project in me of
Mm-hmm.
fiction that I always say that
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spend a little time on.
Mm-hmm.
I probably work an hour a year on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
In probably like 4 15-minute bursts, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or 2 half
Mm-hmm.
hours. And I think about it.
You think
And
about it,
it's
you feel
fine.
guilty, and you go, "Oh, I need to do."
No, actually,
Mhm.
what the thing about this one, it's like a food-centric
Mhm.
nonfiction,
Mhm.
food-centric fiction.
Mhm.
And it's just every now and then when I
It's a
feel like
Hallmark movie to be, I know. Mhm.
yeah, I have one of those ideas as well. But yes, it is one of those types
Mhm.
of things
Mhm.
where every now and then I feel like I'm too cluttered with
Mhm.
everything because
Mhm.
I do a lot of
Mhm.
everything
Right.
and I'm trying to fall asleep.
Mhm.
I will think about this project.
Ah.
And that project is
Mhm.
serving a purpose.
Mhm.
It's not getting written,
Right.
but it
Mhm.
is serving a
Mhm.
purpose
Right.
in the me.
Mhm. Right.
Right. So you need the who you are. Oh, and I've got another really good example of
Mhm.
a not yet kind of project.
Mhm.
I had a client several years ago,
Mhm.
and I was her push present for her second child.
Ah.
Then her husband was gifting her work with me to
Mhm.
get her book
Mhm.
done.
Mhm.
We met several times over the summer. We mapped it out. We
Mhm.
made her plan, and we were supposed to touch base the end of the summer.
Mhm.
Wrote to her, didn't hear from her. Waited a few weeks,
Mhm.
wrote to her again,
Mhm.
maybe 3 or 4 times, and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay. Maybe 6 months later, I
Mhm.
get an email from her
Mhm.
that said, Deb, I am so sorry.
Mhm.
I overwhelmed myself.
Aw.
It
Mhm.
was too much writing the book with the
Mhm.
new baby,
Mhm.
but I did the other things you said, which was
Mhm.
find creative endeavors, other things
Mhm.
that get you excited.
Mhm.
So I focused on
Mhm.
that. And then I was finally able to get back in the mode
Mhm.
to write the book.
Mhm.
It's finally almost done. When can we meet to do finishing
Yay.
touches? So
Mhm.
the book was a
Mhm.
priority, but it was a not yet.
Mhm. Right.
We needed to do
Mhm.
the other things, the
Mhm.
balance things,
Mhm.
and then she was able to move
Mhm.
forward and get it done.
Right. And I think that shows that that we can do that. It's and not go, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible, awful person because I didn't do it. And that's the thing is we're so hard on ourselves. And maybe it is just that, well, it's not time for it yet.
Mhm. And not yet is okay, but
Hmm.
that again
Hmm.
is why we've got our mission and your
Hmm.
priorities change. I mean,
Right.
my goal in
Hmm.
2020 was to do corporate speaking,
Hmm. Oh
and then
yeah.
everything
Oops.
shut down. Yeah, oops.
uh,
And it's really funny because the space I'm doing now,
hmm.
especially with goal setting and goal
Hmm.
getting in challenging times,
Hmm.
turns a hope into a strategy or
Hmm.
a how to
Hmm.
set and achieve
Hmm.
goals when the world around you
Hmm.
is crumbling. I
Hmm.
mean, that is a very important topic
Hmm.
right now.
Right.
And so it's happening after the
Hmm.
second book came out in
Hmm.
January.
Hmm.
It is very important
Hmm.
because I feel troops need to be
Hmm.
rallied,
Hmm.
and I love being that voice.
Hmm.
So that goal from 5 years ago was a not yet, and right
Hmm.
now it's a yet.
Hmm.
So other projects, they need to get put in a box.
Hmm.
And that's okay. But
Hmm.
when you prioritize,
Hmm.
you get more
Hmm.
opportunities. The other thing that I love that I talk about a lot, and this is what my TEDx was the
Hmm.
magic of your motto.
Hmm.
So in determine your mission
Hmm.
starts with visualization.
Hmm.
You write your current bio, your
Hmm.
future bio in the
Hmm.
present tense, of
Hmm.
course. You write your mission statement,
Hmm.
who you are, what makes you unique, and
Hmm.
how you help. And if you're doing it right, your mission statement is long and clunky, which
Right.
is why you need a motto,
Hmm.
which is a 3 to 5 word
Hmm.
pithy phrase or
Hmm.
title.
Hmm.
Mine is, well, my mission is to use my background experience, workshops, books to help as many people as possible figure out what they want and how to get it so they can
Hmm.
live more fulfilled lives and
Hmm.
help more people.
Right.
Long and
That's a
clunky.
mouthful. Hmm.
Right. My motto is goal setting simplified.
Yeah.
So everything I do
Hmm.
is with simplified in mind because changing your life is
Hmm.
challenging enough. I
Hmm.
made the instructions really easy.
Hmm.
And when you have a motto, and it can be a theme song, I've got one
Hmm.
of those as well.
Hmm.
It could be a title. I also have one of those.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
when you know who you are and what you're
Hmm.
about, when opportunities come your way, you're able to,
Right.
you've
Oh,
got
it
like the
fits
best
in there.
decision.
Yes, it
You
fits
have the best
in. Hmm.
decision tree
Hmm.
ever.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
because if it's a fit, it's
Hmm.
a yes. If it's not
Hmm.
a fit, you have to ask yourself, is
Right.
there another personal and professional
Hmm.
benefit? If it's yes, and
Hmm.
having
Hmm.
fun, enjoyment is a
Hmm.
reason to say yes.
Hmm.
If it's no, then you have to really wonder
Right.
why you're even
Hmm.
considering doing
Hmm.
this thing.
Yeah. And it's okay to let it go.
it is okay to let it go, because when you say no to something that isn't a fit for you, you are saying yes to yourself, and you are giving someone who it is a fit for an opportunity to say yes.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk more about why we need to set goals, especially when it's tough. And let's be honest. I mean, these are challenging times. They're scary times. We were talking before the program about COVID and, everything that we stressed about over that. But now it's a challenge. There's just all sorts of stuff going on in the world. So why is it important, or maybe more important, that we have goals now?
I feel like, and again, this is the summer, and my book came out in January, and I live in LA, so it came out a couple weeks after the fires and right after the inauguration, and everybody was all up in arms about everything.
Right.
The world was falling
apart.
I'm understating it. And it's not that the world isn't falling apart now. It's that people are tired of doing nothing about it. They're tired of sitting, watching TV, doom scrolling and twiddling their thumbs. The reason why goals are so important is they give you hope. And it could be for a better life, a better future, something you're building for a business, something that makes you happy. It doesn't matter what the goal is. It just needs to be something personal for you that's going to give you the happies.
Right.
Or I call it like a giggle project. I know we're using really formal businessy
yes, it's
terms,
very technical.
but when you've got something that you're working on that makes you smile whenever you think about it, and that you're maybe not even ready to tell people about yet, but all you have to do is think about it, and you're like,
wow.
Yes. And if you're listening, I am smiling because I'm thinking I've got a couple of those, and just talking about them makes me think about these things that I have in mind to create. I am fortunate because I get to be Deb all the time, and I love most of the things that I do.
Yes.
I mean, we all in business have maybe a couple things
that
aren't
I have
as like
to invoice, I have to do this, I have to do that.
Yes, it's like, ooh, I have to send books, but you're sending books. People want books. It's a good thing. Yes, right. But when you does it, and I did a thing for LA County Bar Association Lawyer Wellbeing Project in June. It was called Goal Setting and Goal Getting in Challenging Times. They had 400 people RSVP.
Wow.
And almost 200 people showed up live.
Cool.
And really speaking to the moment, I mean, can you think of a more stressful industry to be in right now than the legal field? And what I was talking about is what I'm saying here. What is something that you may have control over so little, but what is something that you love? And it could be a hobby. It could be something to develop your thought leadership. It could be an Etsy store.
Right.
It could be a side hustle.
Go and plant flowers.
It could be gardening or cooking or whatever. But what is that one thing that you love? Make a plan to put that into your life on a regular basis. So when you're doing the hard stuff, you can start by even working for 5 minutes on this passion side hustle, hope project. I think that's probably a better word. 5 minutes of working on that, and then you do the thing, and then you get rewarded because you can work on the thing again. And when you've got the happy vibes, it's going to make everything in your life better, in your business, your personal, your professional. And it's something you can control. So when you are living in a world where you control nothing, and if you've got a project or a hobby or a something that you can turn to when you need it, that's going to help you tremendously. You have no idea.
Right. And I love that you talk about goals of things that you have to do, that you might think, right?
Right.
But you still have to have the goal of getting it done, or, whatever it is, but then having the happy goals. And I think so many times people think the goals are the things, I have to.
If they're the thing, you're doing goals wrong.
Right. Yeah. So you need to think about it differently. Okay. Well, I've got to get all this stuff done. And, I'm working on a dog show, big national dog show right now. And I've got to get a whole bunch of stuff done this week. But by Saturday, it will be done. And, and I know that what I'm doing is going to make people happy. So even though I might be going, ugh, at it, look at it with, oh, okay, well, this is going to be fun because people are going to look at it and they're going to enjoy it. And so, how can we make it fun? And yeah, there are some that the goal is just, okay, but the vast majority of them should be to make you smile and at least not go, ugh.
The other thing that you could do is rules and rewards. I had and when you get the hook done, you get a treat.
Yes,
Obviously
I get ice cream or whatever.
Exactly. The biggest reward is achieving your goals, but like Sage, your chat GPT person says, have a treat, buy a candle, take a bath, eat some chocolate. I was doing a fireside roundtable chat AMA thing. And someone said, I have this client that I don't love working on. What can I do? And I said,
fire them.
No, that was not an option.
Oh, okay.
But what I said was, do you have to work on this project every day? No. Great. 3 days a week, you will work on this project. And what you can do is you can get them out of the way. Do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or do Monday, Wednesday, whatever you want to do. And then I suggested, eat dessert first, do something you love first, do the thing, and then reward yourself with, more good.
Right.
And talk about instant gratification. 2 days later, she said, thank you for the advice. I've done it twice now. I only have one more day to do it this week, and then he's over till next week, and it's really working. So you just need to reframe how you approach the tasks, when you approach the tasks. I love networking, as do you. I think networking. I think it's reasonable in the virtual age to do 3 networking goals a week. One educational, one mixer, and one one-on-one. And
you don't have to put shoes on, folks. You just do them all from your computer.
Exactly. But if you really don't love goals, what you can say is, I'll do this for 3 weeks and then I'll take a week off. And that's my reward. So you need to, and this is really the genesis of 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. I was talking to my publisher because we all have these things that we do. I call it Zoom Free Friday, but it's rarely Friday. 1 day a week, I do not schedule appointments because that is the day where I get the things done. Because it's very difficult, and that has actually even shifted more because as I'm doing more speaking and consulting, I love the freelancing. I'm not willing to give it up, but my freelance writing gets relegated to the weekend. It is becoming my side fun thing, so that way I still do it, but I don't have the pressure of trying to find quiet time during the week. So I was talking to my publisher about, I have this thing, she doesn't like emails on Mondays where people ask you to do things because you have enough to do on Monday.
Yes, you're going, okay, I gotta get ready for the week and blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. And this evolved into a conversation about everybody has things that work for you. So the book proposal that 52 Secrets went out as was 101 rules for success in business. And then it came back with, no, Deb, you're the goal girl. It needs to be 52.
Yes.
And it ended up 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting. But I'm like, that's fine. The title is different. It's the same book. The secret to success is there is no secret. All you can do is see what works for other people, take those for a test drive.
Right.
And the ones that work, do more of, and the ones that don't work, stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like the people, I always am entertained when, like you see the, Warren Buffett and Elon Musk only sleep 2 hours a day and they read 900 newspapers. And if you want to be successful, you have to do that too. I got news for you, folks. They don't do that.
Not only that, these gurus, these experts, and I'm not throwing shade on anybody. But these people who say, do exactly what I do and you will be a success are full of it.
Right. Because we are different.
Exactly. We do not have their education. We do not have their personal and professional background. We don't have their money. We don't have their resources.
Right.
But what you can do is take a piece of what works for them and see if that'll make your life better. It's not an all or nothing. It's And the other fun thing for me with this book is that everybody in 52 Secrets is someone I know, someone who's a friend, someone I've interviewed, or someone who is in the book said, "Oh, Deb, you need to interview this person. Let me introduce." Or I would say, "Is there someone you know?"
Right.
And I would tell them they need to be someone I would be friends with, and they have to be of service, of the mindset of service to others.
Right.
And then I said that about 2 dozen times when I said, "Oh, that's the same thing." And I said, "Oh, they just have to be someone I would be friends with because the people I'm friends with are all about
Yes.
uplifting others, helping make the world better."
Right.
We came together because a mutual friend said the two
Yes,
Debs
you
need to
two
know
have
each
to
other.
meet. Yes.
Exactly. Because you can't reach your goals on your own. You need your people. So I love the fact that all the people in the book are people that I know. But I would say less than 10 of them were email interviews. Everybody else was a Zoom. And some of them were, "Oh, I only have 5 minutes," and we talk for a half an hour.
Right.
You know, or, and this was also interesting. There's no there are a couple similar things. There's no replication in the book, except 3 people gave me very similar tips. And I had to say to them, "Can we reframe yours this way? Can we reframe yours that way?" And the third person, I said, "We just need something different from you."
Yeah, I've lost. I don't even know.
Exactly. And it had to do with batching. So batching. And one did batching and lists. Pahala Rizzo, who's a media producer, and she wrote a book called Listful Living. Jason Falls, who is the head of the Marketing Podcast Network, which hosts GoalChat, his was on limiting the amount of time that he does when he consults. He set limits how much time he could do meetings with them. So they both had to do with batching, but they were different enough that they could be a little similar,
Right.
a little differenter. And then this celebrity chef, his name is Etan Bernath. He's out of New York. He was on Job Junior when he was 11. It came out when he was 12, and he is a celebrity chef in his 20s and amazing. Gave something very similar, and I said, "What else you got?" And his tip, and I love it from a 20-something, is that to take a lunch break. He takes 20 minutes where he just veggies and watches TV. Not cooking shows.
Right.
Like
shuts his
TV.
brain down.
And he said that eliminates the need to scroll and take breaks. He's like, "I know I have this break. I'm re-energized, and then I get things done faster." But, tangent. So the point
Butterfly.
yeah, exactly. The point is, what evolved from a conversation of everybody has rules that they live by, that they work by, that makes their lives better, became this book. Look at your life, see what works for you, and then if you need a little extra inspiration, the book is in 7 different sections, including networking, productivity, focus, well-being, whatever. Or this is the fun game I like to do. I say just pick a page
Just
and
open
see
it.
what it says. So should we try it?
Yes, because I just have the PDF version, and so that's too hard to do. So you have the physical book.
Okay. Create your own community is the one that came up in our conversation.
Okay. Which is perfect.
2 community builders talking about
right.
sharing the people that you know, so other people can learn from them. I mean, very on brand. So you don't know. I had jury duty last week, and I was in line at the end of the day, and I was bummed because I hadn't made a friend, because I always make a friend jury duty. And I just started chatting with this. We were grumbling because we had to get postponed because it was a 3-week trial, and 80% of the group couldn't do it. So the judge sent us all. So we were in line, and I had to postpone because solopreneur cannot work 3 weeks,
right?
Or cannot take 3 weeks off, right? She lives in one of the areas that was hit by the fires.
Ooh.
And not living at a home. She's she's still doing, it took her, I think, almost 2 hours because of all, and still doing breathing treatment from the smoke inhalation. And I said, "You look like you could use a present." And I gave her a book.
Aw.
And the page she turned to was "Be prepared and be kind." And she was like, "Well," so I'm going to have to start filming when I
Mm-hmm.
give people
Right.
this
Mm-hmm.
because everybody I say let's
Mm-hmm.
play this little parlor game
Mm-hmm.
to turns to
Mm-hmm.
one I did on Friday. I was meeting about an upcoming event,
Mm-hmm.
and this woman opened the book to seek alignment,
Mm.
and I swear it looked like she was going to cry because that
Oh.
was exactly.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Can you believe this is the message I got?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "I must be doing something right."
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
it was just amazing.
Mhm. It's like it's
Anyway.
either something they already do, like build
Hmm.
communities, or something they need to be doing.
Yes, or they need the reminder of,
Mhm.
or you could just
Right.
sit down and read the book
Hmm.
because, it's goal setting simplified. It's easy
Oh, yeah.
peasy.
Oh, yeah.
But the
Hmm.
purpose of it is it's a choose your own adventure
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
advice, but it's
Hmm.
exactly what we're
Hmm.
talking about here.
Right.
What look when you're looking at your goals,
Hmm.
also look at your life
Hmm.
and see what are the
Hmm.
things that you can incorporate
Hmm.
into your schedule
Hmm.
so you can prioritize.
Hmm.
You need to treat these
Right.
goals, especially the
Hmm.
ones that you are doing for
Hmm.
yourself, the ones on
Hmm.
spec, with as much gold as you would treat
Hmm.
a boss
Right.
or a
Hmm.
client or
Hmm.
a coworker
Hmm.
or anybody
Hmm.
else. Why do, which
Hmm.
is why I say you can move the appointments if you have to, you can't
Hmm.
delete them.
Hmm.
You want to claim this
Hmm.
project for yourself,
Yes.
and that
Hmm.
means putting in the time,
Hmm.
celebrating the
Hmm.
wins, and getting it done. And
Hmm.
the other thing is when you do it little by little,
Hmm.
you get to a point where it becomes big by big.
Hmm.
You get to a
Hmm.
point where boom, you're gonna get
Hmm.
it finished in a couple weeks
Hmm.
because you've gotten the ball
Hmm.
rolling so fast.
Hmm. Right. So now for somebody who's going, oh, yeah,
Right?
but I don't know how to start, what do you
I
tell
have an
them?
answer. I
Mm-hmm.
have an answer. Um I call it the duct tape of problem solving. I call it
Okay.
directed journaling
Mm-hmm.
because you can use this for anything. You
Mm-hmm.
can use it for decision making, problem solving. But in the case of this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
for figuring out your next
Mm-hmm.
step, and what you need to do is schedule 3, 4, 5, 15-minute appointments with yourself.
Okay.
And during that time, just free write the answer to this
Mm-hmm.
question. What is next?
Ah.
And do this 3, 4, 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you could do it if you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out your mission
Mm-hmm.
statement,
Mm-hmm.
if you know what the project
Mm-hmm.
is and you're trying to get the details down.
Mm-hmm.
But do this 3, 4,
Mm-hmm.
5 times. Do not read anything, but the question should always be the same.
Mm-hmm.
After you've completed the exercise,
Mm-hmm.
read it straight through.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back through it again with either a highlighter or a
Mm-hmm.
notepad and find the common themes
Mm-hmm.
because we know the answers.
Mm-hmm.
We do not ask ourselves the questions
Right.
often enough, which is
We're
what I
scared
do.
to. We're scared to
Right.
ask those questions. Mm-hmm.
But goal setting is
Mm-hmm.
all about gifting yourself
Mm-hmm.
the time and the
Mm-hmm.
energy to create the life
Mm-hmm.
that you want.
Right.
So go through
Mm-hmm.
something you thought you wanted, you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned twice,
Mm-hmm.
something that you really didn't realize you
Mm-hmm.
were that into. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned several times
Mm-hmm.
every single day you
Mm-hmm.
sit down to write.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're paying
Mm-hmm.
where you need to pay attention
Right.
because you know
Mm-hmm.
what excites you.
Mm-hmm.
You know the project that
Mm-hmm.
that if you sit down to work on it for
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes, it's going to be 2 hours later and you're
Right.
wondering why you're
Mm-hmm.
hungry because you missed
Mm-hmm.
eating lunch
Right.
because
And
you
your
got
mouth
so
hurts because you
excited.
grinned the whole time, right? Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We know these
Mm-hmm.
things. So if you're trying to figure out where to
Mm-hmm.
start with the directed journaling
Mm-hmm.
exercise, but also and after you do that, schedule an hour a week,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be broken down into
Mm-hmm.
3 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
4 15 minutes, 1 hour,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your time. That
Mm-hmm.
is your golden gifted
Mm-hmm.
time that you're going to put into
Mm-hmm.
this and watch it grow.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Well, you know, what stops people from achieving their goals? Because, okay, they figured it out and they're like, oh my God, I'm very excited about this. And then it doesn't happen.
They overwhelm themselves.
Okay.
They overthink their goals,
Mm-hmm.
or in some cases, they
Mm-hmm.
underthink them.
Mm-hmm.
But this is why I say, okay, do the groundwork,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
figure out what you want to create,
Mm-hmm.
and then you make your plan.
Okay.
So if you're if you're looking at your life, let's say it's summertime and you have kids and the kids are out of school and you've got all sorts of extracurricular activities, you are not going to have more than an hour a week,
right?
if that.
Because you're ferrying them around and you're pooling and you're doing all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe for that, it's you take the time when they're at camp and you're sitting in the car, and rather than scrolling on the phone, you spend 15 minutes of the time. You don't even have to spend all of the time. 15 minutes of time working toward your goals. You know, but when you look at your life, and that's why mapping it out is so important, because you figure out all the things you have to do and then look at your life and see what is feasible. December, another busy time. You cannot possibly be expected to accomplish a lot of things. That's why I like to start the new year in December. You use December as a planning month. You finish all your goals in November. Well, there are different theories because you do have that crossover month. I know people who subscribe to the 13-month year. So they start in December. And so they've got a 13-month year. If they get it done by the end of November, great. If not, they have an extra month of wiggle room.
They got wiggle room.
Right, exactly. But you need to look at your life. If you've got a big deadline at work, you're not going to get as much done. On the flip side, let's say you have kids and they're at summer camp, they're at overnight camp. Well, then you've got extra time over the summer that you could put into your goals,
or
and give
longer
it a running
days, so you can be outside or whatever, you know.
Well, exactly. Or look at your life and say, when do you do your when is your good golden time for work? And I loved it when I led the writers group. People would say, what is the best time to write? I can't answer that for you.
Right. For some people, it's 5 a.m. For some people, it's 11 p.m., you know, and
right,
all
exactly.
Of that.
It's in all this stuff, it's know thyself stuff. So people overthink, they underthink, they don't have a plan, but they also don't look at their life. And when you figure out what is feasible, because I want everybody to win. I want people to get success all the time.
Right.
And
it'd be a happier world, right?
Right? But and that's exactly the point of why you need to set goals, especially now. If you've got something that makes you happy, that you could like flip the switch on whenever you need that burst of adrenaline or endorphins or whatever it is, you know, meeting with a client you hate. Oh, I'm going to work for 5 minutes on my giggle project. Right. And that way you're in that right frame of mind.
Yeah.
Don't
be reading the news going, yeah, right?
If you took most of the time where you're doom scrolling or watching the news, maybe, and this is something that I've done, you know, I will check if there's something going on. Maybe I'll turn on the news for 5 minutes, or I will just check the feeds.
Yeah, because we don't want to bury our heads completely in the sand, but we also don't need to be on the 24-hour news cycle.
Right. Take the time where you would be watching the news and work on your project. Or let's say you're big into binge watching. Watch one less episode.
Right.
And that
it'll still be there.
It will be there. But these are just little tricks, little time swappy things you can do. But people, goals are golden. Let's just call it that way. They are magic. They can help you do better, be better, have the life you want a little bit at a time. But you need to do it right. You need to set the foundation. You need to make the plan, and then look at your life and see what you can accomplish. I have as I am several me's, you know, writer, podcast host, speaker, workshop leader, goal strategist. I also do book proposal consulting because it's something that I always do, but I forgot to tell people until my last book. And my publisher said, I can't believe you wrote this in 2 weeks. It's better than most people who slave for months. Oh, I do that. Do you think I should tell people? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a couple book proposal clients that I had, most of them got wrapped up in the spring, and I had a couple new ones come through. And this week I wrapped up, or I am just, we had one more section to finish. And because I was so busy during the week doing the other Deb stuff, for 2 weekends, I said, I'm taking half a day for each of those weekend days, and I am going to finish the things that need to be done.
Right.
Because when it's done, I'm clearing the decks and I can put something else in its spot. So sometimes you need to clear the decks and make space for new things.
Right.
And there is no all-in-one solution. It's just knowing yourself and your projects and what's going to work for you and doing more of what's going to work for you.
Right. So I was sitting here thinking, I know the best goal of all.
Okay.
My goal is to work on my goals.
That could be I love how meta and self-aware it is. Oh, well, it's good. And so in my book, in your goal guide, the first half goes through Deb. It's fun exercises and brainstorming things. And it will take you through determining your mission, exploring your options, brainstorm your path, different examples, and worksheets. The second half is strategies for success. And one of my favorite ones is no backseat driver. Again, road trip theme. There are always people who want to have an opinion on your life and your projects. And some of them, your partner, they
some
can
of
have
them mean
cents.
well and some of them don't.
Which is why before you share your goals with anyone, it's really important to know what they are. So you can, and let's say you're writing a book and you've got this great concept, you need to know it front, back, forwards. I said 3 things. You need to know it is front, back, and inside out. Right, exactly. So when you get feedback or well-meaning feedback, you are able to discern what is helpful and what needs to be disregarded. If you share ideas or the things that you want to create too soon, you might be encouraged in the wrong direction or swayed away from the right one. So it's, and again, people do mean well, but you also have to choose yourself first.
Right. Yeah. And say, no, this is important to me and I'm going to do it.
Exactly. And then so you have your circle of people, or you talk about your goals in code. Oh, I'm going to spend an hour. I have the Write On Facebook group. I mentioned there are different posts each day. You can talk in code, spend an hour on my project, or you can say, work for my book on an hour, or reach out to 10 podcast guests, whatever it is that you can either be specific, to kind of put it out in the world. But for yourself, write down the 3 long-term, 3 short-term personal and professional goals and put it in a place where it, along with your motto, where it stays top of mind. I often motion to my right because that's where I've got all
you have your motto written down on the wall.
Things. Yep. Well, mine's actually right behind me. It's Goal Setting Simplified, but I always have my works in progress in front of me, my rules and rewards. They're always somewhere where I can access it. But I love that making goals is your goal because what it could be is you just play with the directed journaling, and it could just be lists. Whatever it is, where you every day you're like, what are the things that I want to do? Write it out, do it a few days and say, okay, I like this. And then you could do, okay, when am I going to fit time in for my goals? And you make a list and you make a list and you make a list.
Right.
That, again, duct tape. It works for everything. But the main thing to remember is it is your life. It is your choice. You have all of the power.
Yeah. They are your goals.
Goals.
Now, do you have mutual goals with, say, a spouse, a business partner? Yes. But your goals take priority.
Yes. You have to own it and claim it. Whenever I'm working with a new book proposal client, it's not nonfiction books are sold via book proposal, and it's you take your concept and how it's going to sell, et cetera, and you put it into this beautiful marketing document. The first thing I tell all of my clients is, what is your topic? Congratulations, you are now the queen or king or ruler of this.
Yes.
You need to own your topic. You need to own your goals. Whatever it is you want to create, you need to be all in on. And you can be all in on and work on them in 15 minutes at a time because it's your thing. You get to make the rules. You get to figure out how to put them in your life so you can create the life you deserve and desire. That's it. Easy peasy, goal setting simplified.
I love it. Well, oh my gosh, we are at the top of the hour. This has been so much fun. See, this is why I use a timer, right? My guests always say, how come you use a timer? Because we have so much fun chatting that the hour goes. So for people who are going, this sounds great. I need me some Deb. How do they find you and what are the services that you provide?
Well, don't we both think everybody could use a little Deb?
I know everybody needs a little Deb
anyway.
in their life, and like we said, you get 2 of them today. So
yeah, yay, good for you. Two for one. I am at the Deb Method everywhere, so you can go to my website, thedebmethod.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. It's my LinkedIn is Coast Bunny, but if you put in my name, my first freelance writing website was coastbunny.com because I thought my name was too boring. So that's my nod to it. So find me on LinkedIn and you can email me deb@thedebmethod.com. If you're a DIY kind of person and you need some help with your goals, you can grab a copy of your goal guide and or 52 secrets for goal setting and goal getting at your favorite place to buy books.
And we'll have a link in the website in the show notes, of course.
Awesome. And I do individual, group, and organizational consulting. I help people with personal and professional projects, networking and event attending, conference attendance strategy, and goal setting and goal getting in challenging times. And I do this as one-on-ones for business teams. I can even do for book clubs and for organizations will bring me in to speak to rally the troops. One thing which you said in my bio is I am on a mission to change goal culture in and out of the workplace. So I love going in and working with teams because you're all in this together. And when you go through and you identify your goals and what you need to do to accomplish them in concert with each other in the team, but with the company's mission in mind, your goal might be to move up in the company. It might be to do special projects, or it might be to be left alone at the end of the day. These are all valid goals. And when you're put in a position, and I love doing it as a workshop because you can learn different things about each other and support each other. But when you put yourself in this position, it sets you up for success, but also your team. When you set goals, whether it's within or out of a company, everybody benefits because you know what you're working towards. You've got that good juju, the happy factor, and you're working towards something that's going to make your other people's lives better. And guess what? As a bonus, your life better as well.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, because it's not, hey, GPS, take me wherever.
Yes. No. It's GPS, take me. I want to be thought leader. Yeah. How do I get there?
I want to do this. I want to do that. Yep.
And we all know the answers. We don't ask the questions.
Right. I love it.
So start asking the questions.
Yes. And don't be afraid of them. They might be scary. That's okay. It kind of comes back to some of our goals need to be stretch goals. Well, sometimes those questions need to be scary.
Yes. And then if you're going to do the scary things, just give yourself a bigger reward for doing them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I get 2 scoops of ice cream.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
I'm going to be like 4:00 today. I'm going to be like, I need ice cream. I wonder why. Oh yes, Deb.
It's because Deb just kept talking about it. The power of suggestion. Yeah. Well, this really has been so much fun and I can't wait till we chat again. But until then, do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave everyone with?
Yes. I'm going to repeat myself. It is your life. It is your choice. They are your goals. Your goals. Treat them with care. Treat them like gold. Treat your goals like gold because we all, when you think about the life you want, really take some time to see what that looks like and then figure out the things you need to do to get there because you can get there. You just have to choose yourself first.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm Deb Creer, having so much fun speaking with Deb number 2, Debra Eckerling. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.